psychosis scandal. Save other men like me from killer kitchens, urges a worker, 29, who sadly has now been left with an incurable lung disease, as well as COPD and emphysema after cutting quartz kitchen worktops in a fog of dust. The Daily Mail go for ex-councillor quotes drugged and raped wife with other men. This is a businessman, former Tory councillor, apparently due in court tomorrow, which charged with drugging and raping his ex-wife for 13 years. I will just say, look, this is obviously a breaking story. It's an active case. We're going to have to leave that one there. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty, aren't they? But The Sun. Now, this is a sensational story. I think it's probably the most sensational story on all of the front pages, actually. Police seize Andy gun licence. This is Andrew Mountbatten. He's had his gun licence revoked. Apparently specialist police officers turned up to Royal Lodge, which is where he's still living, and he agreed to hand over his gun licence. He's only going to be allowed to use weapons now, shotguns, under strict supervision. He's not going to be allowed to transport them anywhere. There's a lot going on with this story. Some of the reasons behind why you would revoke a gun licence is a change of address. Well, fine, we know he's moving out of Royal Lodge. But obviously another reason, of course, is if you are deemed to be a risk to yourself or others. And, you know, there are questions there after the kind of year that Andrew has had, whether or not that may indeed be the case. The Guardian, another one that I'm looking forward to getting stuck into here, tucking into, if you will. Families plead with Lammy over the Palestine Action hunger strike. So the families and supporters of Palestine Action affiliated hunger strikers who are on remand in prison at the moment have now pleaded with David Lammy to meet them. They've given a list of demands, and it's how they want him to proceed. Look, again, you know, I'm sorry, but this is very much a self-inflicted problem, isn't it? Quite literally a self-inflicted problem on these people. And as we're going to talk about, some of their demands are pretty out there. The Express, let's all back Britain's vibrant high streets, on the front of the Daily Express there. Yeah, just pretty much a story that does what it says on the tin, really. Post offices will lead the comeback of vibrant high streets following a revamp next year. They're going to fill the void left by banks closing. Will offer services from advice to small businesses to prescription hubs. There you go. The Mirror, King of Industry. This is the fact that King Charles now, despite battling cancer, is apparently this year's hardest working royal. So have that, Princess Anne. The Telegraph, non-crime hate incidents are going to be scrapped. This is a huge victory. We're going to talk about this, but the Daily Telegraph's front page as a whole is pretty strong, actually. Have you been misled into buying an EU turkey by mistake? Supermarkets have been accused of duping shoppers into buying European turkeys. There's a bird flu outbreak wreaked havoc on British farms. There you go. You've accidentally eating foreign muck this Christmas. That's what that tells you. Also, councils are going to go down to a 4-day working week. Magnificent. Great. I mean, they could do the opposite. Shouldn't they be going the other way? Shouldn't you be on a 7-day working week, fill in the blooming potholes, you know, make people's lives better? You know, instead, no, they're going the other way. Work shy civil servants. But let's get straight into my panel on this. Focus on the big one on the Telegraph. Non-crime hate incidents to be scrapped. So, Leo, as the kind of man that would have been fodder for the prosecution of non-crime hate incidents, in fact, I'm amazed that you are currently serving about 20 years behind bars. You must feel like this is pretty good news for you and your ex-account.
Yeah, well, I mean, I thought they'd already been scrapped because Harry Miller took them to the Supreme Court, took the College of Policing to the Supreme Court, and they were ordered to stop using these ridiculous non-crime hate incidents. I mean, why would the police be dealing with non-crimes? Are the fire brigade dealing with houses that aren't on fire? It's a nonsense. And some of the non-crime hate incidents that have been recorded are absolutely nonsensical. Harry Miller was pulled up over saying he identified as a fish and was just a signed mammal at birth. And
because they would thought that was offensive to trans people.
They thought it was offensive to trans people who, you know, famously love to have a joke. And you know,
I find often take a joke well.
Yeah. And the other ones have been even more ridiculous. Somebody hung underwear in their washing line, and that was recorded as a non-crime hate incident because it offended a neighbour. A little girl at a primary school, said that another classmate smelt like fish, and that was apparently scramble all units. You know, Blue Sirens non-crime hate incident as well. So this is nonsense, and they're going to replace it with common sense. So things are going to get even worse, because good luck finding somebody in the public sector who's got common sense in 2025.
Well, it's not.
They are working for those 4 days that you could find that common sense.
Yeah, it's not an entire victory though, unfortunately, because under these new plans, non-crime hate incidents will be replaced with a new common sense approach. So beware of that, because they've traditionally not displayed much common sense when dealing with these, where only a fraction of such incidents will be recorded under the most serious category of antisocial behaviour. So there's another way of looking at this story, Christo, which is that actually, instead of someone being registered as a nasty man, or for saying that someone smells like fish, right? It might actually now you get charged with the more serious offence of antisocial behaviour.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wanting to take your analogy further, though, that hospitals will deal with now non-health incidents, and we're going to have all sorts like that. You know, my mechanic will deal with my car when there's nothing wrong with it. But I think that we now will need to look at the statistics in a year's time, or whenever this comes in, of antisocial behaviour prosecutions, because if they start skyrocketing, well, then it's just going to have been replaced with that. And this is, you're quite right, common sense in this government or anyone in the public sector is quite thin on the ground, but it is about the line, isn't it? And I want comedy to offend. I want comedy to you know, the essence of comedy, which is, you know, laughing at someone who falls over and hurts themselves, you know, that is comedy, and that's cruel. Comedy is cruelty. I don't need to tell you that. You are cruel on a daily basis, every day, morning, noon and night.
I only punch down.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that's hilarious.
It is hilarious. And I think that we've lost that, because the line has become so blurred, and we have become a nation where we don't look at intent, we look at what people's feelings are. Yeah. Why are you laughing? Why are you giggling?
No, just because it's so true. But this is the risk, isn't it, now, Benjamin? Which is that, you know, okay, it's good that people are celebrating that non-crime hate. So you know, where you send something in like a parent's WhatsApp group about that you don't like one of the teachers at a school, and then before you know it, like 16 police officers stove your front door in, and they're in there